Okay, hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk about using first then schedules. A lot of students benefit from using a first then schedule, and I'm going to discuss some of those benefits with you and how you can use them and how you can also make them in your home. So, first, using a first then schedule may help the student and may also help you to organize activities throughout the day, which now may be particularly important to consider, considering the school closure and that they may be used to a bit more structure throughout their day. Next thing to consider is that a lot of students have anxiety around completing tasks and activities, and having a visual first then schedule may help decrease a lot of their anxiety because they can see and know what to expect, what comes first and what comes next. So, another important component to having a first then schedule is that the visual aid itself will help them to understand and to remember what they need to do first, what they need to do second. Um, it's a bit more beneficial for many students than simply telling them, okay, first we're going to do this and then we're going to do this. Having the visual aid will help them to understand that information and take some anticipation um, out of the equation for them. Another important aspect to first then schedules is that it shows them when they can have a reward or a break or a desired activity. If, for example, you have a first then schedule that says first work, then chocolate, the student can understand much more simply that if I do this, then I can have the chocolate that I want. And as always, the last point is that it's important to be consistent and follow through with what you have on the first then schedule. They really depend on this consistency because showing them what happens next will relieve them of that anxiety. And it's important to follow the schedule because they trust it. So now I'm going to show you some simple first then schedules that you might be able to use at home. These are all available for free online. But if you don't have a printer, you can also pull up the images on your computer and simply point to them to refer to the icons for your student. Or you can also simply create them at home with whatever resources you have available, whether that be paper and markers or an expo board. Um, but this is a very good example of what a first then schedule can look like. It's very simple. And this one says first book, then Play-Doh, which is a very obvious and clear example of if I read this book first, then I can have the Play-Doh that I've been wanting to play with. So another good example of what a first then schedule can look like is something like this, where you have several options to choose from and you can really customize it depending on your students' preferences or activities. For example, first work, then snack, or first work, then iPad, or special activity, which gives them another very clear and customized idea of if I do this first, then I can do this. And also helps them to understand what is expected and takes a lot of anxiety away for the student. Again, this is something that you can create at home with whatever resources you have available to give your student a visual aid for completing tasks and assignments throughout the day. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.